All right, everyone, class is about to start. Take your seats. Welcome to UGC 101, the podcast about all things user-generated content.
Welcome back to the UGC 101 podcast. I'm your host, Nate Flake, and today we have a great episode for you. We're bringing you an amazing guest, Marzia. Glad we were able to connect. Can you introduce yourself? Tell a little bit about who you are, and kind of we'll dive into it. I'm going to ask you a bajillion questions, so get ready.
I love it. Well, thanks for having me, Nate. I'm excited to be here. My name is Marzia, and I've been a UGC creator for 4.5 years. Absolutely love it. It's been so fun. And of course, with everything, it's a roller coaster ride. But at the end of the day, I mean, I loved like 80% of it. And the other 20% are obviously, I call them, they're learning curves, right? It teaches you. But if you want to be a better creator, you learn through the hard parts. So.
Yep. Love that. So my first question I always ask everybody is like how, like we see the polished product, right? We see like where you are now. You make amazing content. I love the vlog you posted the other day, like the day in the life stuff. That's so freaking hard for me to remember. I'm like, oh, I've been half my days over. I forgot to film that and that and that. I'm like, I'll try tomorrow. And then tomorrow never comes. So who got you into UGC? Like you obviously started somewhere like the rest of us. How did you fall upon UGC?
Okay, this is crazy. I was a fitness coach for 20 years. And I was working at the gym every day, capped by time and money. I absolutely love what I did. I love changing people's lives because at the end of the day, it wasn't about lunges and, I would say, working out. It was about changing someone's mindset. After 20 years of doing that, I thought, you know what? I'm going to take this online. So I thought I'm going to become a fitness influencer.
There you go.
So I'm going to take my knowledge as a personal trainer, bring it online. So I did that, for 4 years. I'm not kidding you. I did not barely make any money. I still had to work as a personal trainer. But I showed up. That was the thing. I showed up. I had a business partner. We tried to make it work together. And it was this, I was a plant-based coach at the time. I'm no longer plant-based. And we were plant-based coaches and we were bringing our knowledge. And I don't know why, but it was the worst learning curve. I'm glad I had that experience because that 4 years taught me how strong I was as a creator. I really wanted to become a creator. When that failed, I knew I had to like hang up my heels. Like the thing about being an influencer, you had to post constantly. There was no guarantee to make any money.
Yeah.
It's like you had to put your life out there. You kind of didn't know what to put out there besides your knowledge. I felt like I had to put my life and knowledge out there. It was a cluster. So after 4 years, I was like, you know what? I'm going to hang up my heels. I'm better as a personal trainer than a fitness influencer. This is not paying me. And while I was in that process of literally shutting down my business, I just remember I was on TikTok. It was spring 2021 and a brand called Kroger reached out to me and they said, hey, can you make
the grocery store?
Kroger, the grocery store.
I was like,
oh my God. Yes.
I
was shocked. I live in Dallas and I actually shop there between.
Oh, you in Dallas? I didn't ask you. What part of Dallas are you in?
Yeah, it's in Plano area.
Oh yeah. I lived in McKinney. My little brothers went to Liberty High School. They were the first graduating class through Plano. So
okay.
I know the area well. Trying to get my wife to Texas. I freaking love Texas, but anyways.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. That's awesome.
We tried to move away for a little bit and then we came back home. So Texas
people are too nice there. That's the problem. They're too nice. They get you roped in at the Buc-ee's too.
Yeah, I just love everything about it. It's like I want to go visit everywhere, but I still Texas is home for sure.
Texas forever, man. That's cool. Sorry to sidetrack you. So you Kroger reaches out. Huge
Kroger
brand.
reaches out. It was shocking, and they wanted content, so they were going to give me $1,000 to create this watermelon series, for Kroger, and I was going to get $1,000 gift certificate to Kroger. I'm like, oh my God, this is great. I was so excited because one, that was a big brand. Number two, I was like, and I thought, oh my God, my influencer career is taking off is what I thought. And they were like, no, we don't want you to post it on your page. We're going to use it and post it on our page for ads. It's like organic social and we might use one for an ad. And I was like, what? And at the time they didn't call it UGC. There was no name for it. They just said, hey, you're going to create content for ours. So that was my light bulb moment. Like, wait a minute, I can create content for brands. I don't have to post it on my page. I was like, and then I went off that rate, like $1,000. So I thought, this is the going rate. It's $1,000 they were willing to pay. So I hit the ground running, pitching to brands for $1,000 or $1,500. That was like my shtick back then.
No.
And I was getting it.
No, my gosh.
I was getting $1,000 to $1,500 for everything. And then I decided to hit local UGC, like around town, like med spas, I had a dog at the time and he had natural dog food. So I thought, oh, let me hit the natural dog food store. You need UGC. That name started coming out. It was like towards the end of either late 2021 or early 2022.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, is this what we're calling it? UGC. And I thought,
who decided that, by the way?
I don't
need to
know,
look
but I was
into
like,
the
that's a
origins.
horrible name.
Some marketing exec somewhere probably did it. And they're like, we're going to call it user generated content, which just sounds so
Yes.
like, don't make it corporate. Yeah.
I just hated the name at the time. I was like, oh, this is what we're calling it. This is terrible.
That's
and then
funny.
I just hit the ground running and I thought, oh my God, if I can just get 10 jobs a month, that I only want to make, obviously $10,000 was kind of like the goal, right? Because that's what I was making in my personal training career, right? 10 to 15,000 a month.
Gotta replace it. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to replace that income. So I was like, okay, let me just try to do this. And I did it. I was like, oh my God, this is like crazy. And in my first year, I made 6 figures, but that's what I was doing. I did a lot more local UGC versus doing online. And then an agency reached out and said, hey, can you do this? It was a brand called Lumen. You blow into the machine. And it does your carbs or fat for fuel. It measures it. And we were using this back when I had my plant-based group for fitness. And they saw it on my page and they were like, hey, we'd love for you to create UGC for our brand, with this agency. And I thought, oh my God. And they were going to pay me $600. And at the time I was making, this is kind of funny, $1,000 to $1,500 per job. For me, $650 was like an insult.
You're like, ew.
I was like, are you kidding me?
What's this? So wild.
This is my first agency work. And so they were like, well, we have to take obviously a cut of the pay. It's just like if you were with a modeling agency, you got a job, you take a percentage. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess you're right. And I'm like, that's why I was like, wow, I'd rather do freelance because I can make $1,000 to $1,500 per job versus $650, for 3 videos.
Yeah.
So I took the job and I thought, okay, I'll just go ahead and do it. And that also awakened my eyes to agency work because right after that job came, the ad hit, it did really well. And what they did is they wrote it for me. And then, except for I had to edit and I hate editing. It's like my nemesis. And so I thought, okay, let me just go ahead and do this. I was getting work from the agency. It was pouring in and I was like, oh my God. And I was taking that pay hit. I would say at the time gave me $250 a video. So it's like, if I got 3 videos, it was $750 or 4, it was $1,000.
Yeah. So but it's like they're doing the lead generation for you and then you're not having to go find your own food, right? Like you're not doing the hunting. Yeah.
And I knew at the time, like I was into obviously marketing. I had my own agency I had my own brand as a personal trainer. You have to market yourself to get clients. And I knew my life clients, the ones that been with me forever, paid my bills, right?
Yeah.
I was like, that's what I need. Clients, like my personal training clients that stuck with me 10, 15 years. I need those, but obviously in UGC. So that was my goal, is to deliver the best content I could, to be the best. Hey, and my specialty obviously is health and fitness and beauty. That's what I did. That's what I knew. And I could talk from a place of authenticity, even though if I've never tried the product before, but it's still a passion where I could help somebody else. Right. So I just took it from that, and I had a little bit of acting, and I feel like you're a spokesmodel or host. Back in the day, I kind of dreamed to be that, but it never happened. And so I feel like it was all rolled into one. I'm like, oh, I got to be a personal trainer.
You kind of do it now, though. Yeah. I was going to say, you're kind of doing it now. That's awesome.
I do. So I feel like my dream check. Yeah. So I was having such a fun time with this entire agency work. I thought, oh my God. Well, what's crazy is the brands, when my ads would do really well, they would get me on the side. They would email me or reach out to Instagram and say, hey, we want to work with you outside of the agency. I'm like, what? And I was oh, okay. And they're like, well, pay you whatever you pay. I was like, I'm doubling this. I'm not getting paid $650 for this job or $750 or $1,500. Right. So they would pay my fee. And I was like, ooh, this is actually pretty good. Then I was bartering like, hey, let's do weekly work. Like, let's work together weekly. Cause I was like, I know everything's in follow-up, right? I've taken enough business classes and, you learn through this stuff, either podcasts I've listened to or, I've been in Tony Robbins' business stuff. You got to follow up. That's how you're going to make your money. You got to do a good job and then follow up. And they were like, okay, yeah, let's do that. I've had year retainers. I've had, I barter my stuff, and I don't like to get paid net 30. I like to get paid weekly now. I'm so spoiled. But I feel like if
you're setting a high bar.
You do not get, I ask for everything. And when your ads, here's the thing, when your ads start doing really well, you become a creator that converts, right? It's not just me. I'm not the face of the brand or not like that. There's like 30 or 40 or 50 of us in my demographic, right?
Yep.
And what we do is we create clicks for them. We conversions. So they're going to pay us. As long as you're creating that content that converts, they are going to pay you. I always feel like it's a compliment when they renew my contract for another year. So fast forward, here we are 4.5 years later. the past 3 years, Nate, because that first year I feel like was a good learning curve.
Yeah,
First
yeah.
year and a half.
Getting your feet
The
wet.
past 3 years, I have had my retainer clients, and I have retainer clients begging me. I'm like, this is like crazy. And then I thought, wow, you want to be a creator that brands chase you.
Yeah.
And, you would never think like this is happening to me. Like, but I think over time my ads have gotten better, right? And I become
Yeah,
a
for
better
sure.
creator. You listen, you work with the brand. I'm always on brand meetings. And I never thought this was possible. And then one day I was like, oh my God, this is just like I got this, like my clients who are my lifers as a personal trainer. I got my brands that I feel like that are kind of lifers with me. I mean, they've stuck with me for 3 years. And, they know my energy. Like, I'm not going to be one for Zen. I think I bring my personal training, personality to a lot of my stuff. I'm like, let's go.
Yeah. Well,
And
it's
it's
screaming.
kind of funny. Sometimes they're like, calm down, I'm like, okay, I guess I better calm down. I'm being a little too cringe. But it is kind of funny. They do say in my agency, I get to find a lot of intel. They're like, we have 2 creators. We got the high energy creators, and then we got the ones that are soft energy. They're just soft, organic, natural energy.
Yeah.
And we could put you in front of somebody and they're going to like somebody better. That's why they have a ton of us, because all of
For
us have,
choice. Yeah.
it's a reason why there's different personalities. And I hit that the high energy people. What I'm not good at is doing anything with yoga, retirement, anything very slow paced. I have epically failed. And so now I know my strength. So immediately when I see certain jobs that come across my way, I'm like, no.
Yeah. Well, that's like, that comes from time of like knowing yourself, right? And knowing and getting good feedback from the brands.
Yes.
I think that's awesome. And it's interesting too, to you probably sounds like you've been sprinting for 4 straight years, but you probably haven't had time to like go back and do like a biopsy of what has happened so far in the last 4 years. But it's in like your 4 years fitness stuff. Like if you wouldn't have done that, you probably would have not hit the ground running with really good content. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Which is like, it's interesting to see kind of how your life path helps you like form where you are now.
Agreed.
Because that's why you were able to get $1,500 and $1,000 for videos, because you can't just come out and not. So I tell people, like, anytime I get anybody in my DMs or on TikTok live or whatever, that's like, yeah, I've been trying this for a month. And I'm like, oh, cool. How many videos you made? Well, like, I made 2 for Fiverr. I'm like, oh, like you made 2 videos. That's it. Like you haven't been like practicing. Like you essentially practiced for 4 years without pay. You know what I'm saying?
I did.
And so I don't think people get it. And you coming from the training world, like you can, like it's repetition, it's reps, right? Like you cannot get good at something or build a muscle without working the crap out of that muscle, right?
Exactly.
So that's interesting to see like how it kind of all came together. I want to go back. I'm gonna be all over the place. Apologies here. I want to go back to your local UGC thing. I've been preaching this lately. And there's some disagreements in the space about this. Not gonna lie, people are like, well, local companies have too small of budgets. I'm like, hey, how do you know that? You don't know that.
Correct.
B, how much easier is it to close a brand in person, dude? Like way easier, right?
It is way easier. I pitched myself, like if I saw I would like say there was a place called Bark and Fetch and they had just opened. It was a beautiful natural organic food store. And I went in there, I was just talking to the girl, I was buying some food and she happened to own the place. I'm like, did she show me her social media page? Right. And I was like, are you guys on social media? Obviously there's an angle behind this. So I'm like, hey, she like, I see it. And it's just static pictures. Right. And, the only people, I mean, she's local. She sells like brick and mortar. She's not selling online. But to get more people in there or just for people to follow her, she needs to preach the benefits of why organic, healthier dog food is better than, dog store. I mean, the grocery store that's kibble on a shelf. Right. And so I was letting her know like, hey, you can really amp this page up with some UGC. And she was like, well, what's that? I was like, videos. She was like, oh, like reels. I said, yeah, but they tell a story. Right now you're telling me you get 20% off. That's not going to connect with people. But if you share a story of somebody's dog that got healthy, like maybe they had some cancer and then something happened, they got healthy and it changed the dog's life, that's going to connect with somebody who's going through that same thing. It's a story.
Emotional.
Yeah, totally emotional. And so she was like, oh my God, I'm going to do it. So yeah, I did local UGC with her for 2 years and she paid me $1,000 for 5 videos, every 5 videos that I did. Yeah. And we were just cranking it out. And that was one of my regular clients. And then I went to a beauty place and I get like lasers and stuff like that. I'm into the lasers. And then they had this new thing called M Sculpt. And so basically it helps like, kind of like, not a facelift, but it does the muscles of your
Plumps
face.
you up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a $4,000 procedure. I'm like, I want to get that. I'm going to try.
How do I get that for free before you walk? You're sitting in your car just, okay, how do I pitch this? Get your portfolio ready? Yeah. That's so awesome.
Of course, I go in there, get small items like a facial here and there. Then you talk to people. Then I do UGC. I'm going to market. And they're like, oh, you're an influencer? I'm like, no, this is for your page.
Quick pause here. If you've been thinking about getting into UGC but don't know where to start, I put together a video course that breaks it all down for you. It's called UGC Fiverr Pro, and inside I walk you step by step through setting up your gigs, landing your first clients, and building real momentum, with Fiverr as the launch pad to other platforms and eventually to inbound deals and pitching. I've taught over 2,500 creators how to monetize their content through Fiverr, and many of them landed their first paid brand deals within weeks. Plus, when you join, you also get access to our private Discord community. It's where creators connect, you get to share wins, and you get a ton of support along the way. And since you're listening to this podcast, you can use the code PODCAST for 15% off. Just check the link in the show notes and grab the course today. All right, let's get back to the show.
So a lot of people still don't know what UGC is. Like, no, I create content for brands. You use it for your marketing. I'm not going to post it on my page. So that you have to get past that first hurdle because some people don't know what that is, right?
Yeah.
And then the second one is like, how can I do that? So I was like, how about, because I know that med spas and beauty spas, they do have a bigger budget. So I was like, how about $1,500 for 2 videos, a before and then after? We do the whole procedure before and then after the 4 weeks and do this. And I get the thing for free, of course. They're like, sure. And I'm like, oh my God, I got it. So I've done that with several things that I've wanted that are really high, big ticket items, like that M Sculpt for your abs. Like I like trying new things. I will go and pitch myself. And, people that come back, I mean, even if it's only like that one med spa only got it like, twice, right? They got 2 things that I was able to do. That's still $3,000 that I got, right? It was
plus the product,
plus the procedure.
You can't shake a stick at that. Like that's expensive, right? That's money you would have had to pay out of your own pocket.
Yes. And once you start getting in that world, people tell people about you. Then they told me the Bark and Fetch told the fitness person, and like this small gym, like, hey, this girl's doing my stuff. They're like, oh, who is that? That I go in for a meeting. Next thing I'm creating content for their gym for 2 years. So I did that for the first couple years until I got with the agency work. The work was pouring in. And then I started getting my retainer deals. And I came to a crossroads like a few years in, like, okay, I need to optimize this because I was literally running rampant.
Driving
and when I got with one of my agencies, because my first one, I had to edit everything, right? Either they wrote the script or I would write the script, or we go back and forth on the script to optimize it. That was a pain in the butt. I thought I loved being a talking head. And then I hated editing, right? So when I got my second agency, I was a talking head. They wrote everything optimized for, TikTok Shop or, before TikTok Shop came out, but it was Meta, then it was like TikTok Shop. I get paid for that. And I was like, that's how I found TikTok Shop. And I think it was like late 2023 is when that came out, because I was like, TikTok Shop, what's that? Yeah, and they're like, oh, it's this new thing. It's going to be the competitor Amazon. And I was like, oh, interesting. But it was written different than my Meta ad, right? My Meta ad was different than that. So, but the agency wrote my stuff. It was already optimized. All I had to do was be a talking head and download. I did not even have to edit. And I'm like, that was my wake up call. I was like, that's how I'm going to pitch myself. I am not going to edit my stuff or write my scripts. I'm going to have the agency or the brand do it. And that is how I bartered for the last 2 years. So I do not.
You don't edit.
I don't edit. I don't write. I don't do anything. It is bartered. I was negotiated into my deals, all my deals. I'm like, I absolutely do not edit. You have to edit or find your editor. They're like, deal done. And so that's how every single one. Dude. And so I get like all my scripts and I put all my stuff when I film. And at the end of the day, that's where I kind of download to the brand, and which is like painful, of course. Every person downloading, you have to sift through the footage.
Just renaming it is the most annoying thing.
Naming it. Yeah. Some of them will they'll be like, you don't have to name it. Just put it in the script and just,
we'll do it all.
Throw the script in there. I'm like, oh, hallelujah. Bless your heart.
That's wild. That's crazy. And I mean, again, if you're listening to this, because I have people like, oh, some people say you don't have to edit. That's bullcrap. You have to edit everything. I'm like, dude, this is living proof. Like but you earn that, right? You don't just fall into UGC and be like, I'm not editing. Okay, cool. Then no one's going to hire you from the beginning, right? Like it takes a lot of freaking hard work. And so so you don't do any local stuff anymore unless it's like
No.
crazy.
I came to that crossroads where if my retainer work was paying me more than what I was making locally, I have to say goodbye. And I did. And
Yeah.
finally I was like, hey guys, I'm sorry. This is my last month for content because I got the other deals. So this is crazy. A lot of my retainer work I have right now, it's all been from agencies. They've seen me and how I worked with the agencies. They come around to my email or to my Instagram and say, hey, we want to work with you directly. I cost more than the agency. And I'm like, and I don't edit and I don't, write my script.
You're like, I am high maintenance, actually. Yeah.
I am high maintenance UGC creator. So sorry. Yeah. So a lot of my retainer deals now are anywhere between $5,000 to $7,500 per brand per month. And it's typically about $5,000 a month. But they also whitelist. I charge an additional $250 per ad whitelisted to my account. At any given time, I've got 1,000 to almost 4,000 going through my account of ads, either through Facebook or Instagram. I know it is crazy.
So you're building that into that 5K?
No, this is separate.
Oh, that's separate. You're wild. That's crazy.
Separate.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. At one time I had 6 retainer brands. I only have 4 now because I had the course. I decided I was going to do a coaching program because people could ask me, how are you doing this? And I was just teaching people for free. Like, this is what I do. Because someone's like, give me your secret, Marzia. I'm like, there is no secret, number one.
This is how you do it. ABC, crap ton of hard work. Yeah. And then after a while, you're like, I literally don't have time to teach everybody.
If you follow it, you're going to fail miserably, but you'll get there somehow.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, even if I tell that to my community all the time, and I get on TikTok live a lot and talk about UGC. In fact, I did a full shoot this morning. I did a full video on live this morning through this camera, and then I had my phone. I'm like, I'll do a script in front of you guys, and I just did the whole thing. And like, if I would have just stopped when it got A, hard, or B, like dead. I had a couple dead months, like month 4 and 5. Like, I'd still be working at freaking into it. I was working at a big tech brand before this. So yeah, I think that's great advice. Is like, it's gonna suck for a little bit in the beginning, and it might even suck towards the middle. Like, it's gonna suck. You're gonna have months that suck for sure. Yeah, 100%. So when you were shooting, let's go back to your fitness days, your fitness influencer days. How did you learn how to make content? You just like trial and error? Did you just watch influencers or what?
And this is kind of funny. So I started in, I think 2018, I was going to take my business online and I was kind of getting up and running. Of course, back then my content was terrible, but I was like, I'm going to do it anyways. I'm like, my dream was like, I had a girlfriend before me who was in fitness. She became, she was a teacher first, then she got into fitness, and then she became a multi-millionaire fitness influencer online. I'm like, and this is someone that I knew. So I'm like, if she can do it, I can do it. Like, are you kidding me? So so that was my whole like motivation was her. I get into it. I was like, okay, this is not as easy for me as it looked. It really was easier for her. It was the craziest thing. So she was giving me her tips and tricks. I was failing epically. And then I was trying to do things like copying other influencers or, at that time in my industry. I was like, it just was not hitting it was for her.
Sometimes it's just luck too. Like, I'm not saying your friend got lucky, but like sometimes it's like the right place, right time. One video goes viral and all of a sudden you get 500,000 followers from, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't ever know.
You don't. And she always did well. She ended up being, which is like crazy, like 3 to 4 million years what she pulled in. And this is somebody that I know. And, I was just like, oh my God, that's so amazing. Like, she can do that. I could do that.
I want to do that.
But of course that did not happen. So I'm doing all this stuff. And then here's 2019, TikTok came on the scene. I saw something from Gary Vee said, get on TikTok. And I'm never first to the scene. Like, I got like MySpace back in those days and fell off. I was not very, I would say, savvy with social media. So I was like, okay, I'm going to finally put my eggs in this one basket and do it. And I did. I got on TikTok and it was so much fun. That beginning phase from 2019 to 2020 with the pandemic, everybody on it.
West,
And I felt like just learning those simple things from TikTok, those vertical videos, just getting on there. That was so much fun, right?
Yeah.
And I was just posting random stuff and following trends that TikTok had at the time. And I built that page, which is dead right now, my TikTok page, but like 70,000, I would say followers within a year. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is awesome. I didn't make any money, but it was like, oh, this is so great. And at the time, I think TikTok was just figuring out how do we monetize this for people because nobody was making money. So I knew somebody had 1 million followers and she wasn't making money. And so they're trying to figure out for us to monetize. And so that's when 2021 came around And then Kroger reached out to me on TikTok because they saw I was obviously health and fitness. They saw that page. It was me just doing random stuff, right? They're like, oh, this girl obviously cooks. So let's go reach out to this girl who cooks. You know, she cooks healthy food and she's going to do this watermelon series. They pitched me and that's how I got into UGC. But I am thankful that I went the path of the fitness influencer to get here because it was my trial and error of learning, right? It was teaching me how to be a better creator. And I had to come up with my own content. I had to obviously film it, edit it, upload it, see what worked, what didn't work. And at the time, my brain wasn't quite there on how a video should be optimized, right? Because right now it's different. Now all my videos, it's crazy. I know the hooks and the pain points, emotional benefits, CTAs, whether it's a 10-second video or a 1-minute video, right? And I read scripts all day long with the best copywriters. I save every single one of my scripts, Nate. Every single one in case I have to go back. And I've optimized it now that I can create this for some of my freelance people that I do that are not my retainer clients. I had somebody say, hey, Marzia, there was a personal training certification that I got a long time ago. They had used me more for an influencer back in the day. Well, they came back and said, hey, I see you do UGC. Could you create some UGC for us? I'm like, sure. So I had this tester package that I want to see also too, after being this place in life, you know, as a UGC creator, how well do I work with a brand or a company or the person behind who I'm working with? Because I've had some nightmare clients that I never want to, you don't want to get into a big contract and be stuck. So I always do a tester thing to see how well we work together, like a tester package, see how the ads do, all that kind of stuff. Well, I ended up doing 4 videos for 1,000 and it hit. The first video had over $2.7 million.
Unbelievable.
He calls me, it's like April 2024. I'm literally on this health retreat in Tony Robbins. It was my first health retreat I've ever, I was like, I'm going to go, when I can make some money, I'm going to go on this
health retreat. I'm
going to go. Like I've always wanted to go on a true one. And then I was like, why not go to Tony Robbins? So we fly to Fiji, me and my husband were on there. And it was like the best call. You know, he calls, he's like, Marzia, I still kept it. He's like, I just made $2.7 million off that ad that you just did. I want more of this UGC. The other ad hit 300,000. The other 2 tanked, you know, because those 4 ads. I was like, what? That's was crazy. The moment that I thought, if I can make somebody $2.7 million plus the 300, $3 million, literally and it beat out an ad he had running for 7 years. In
That's
7
crazy.
years, in 5 days. That was the crazy thing. I'm like, I could do this for myself. So I was like, oh my God, I'm going to create my own coaching program and do this for myself. So what did I do? I crafted my UGC, put it out there, made ads for myself. And my very first night, I made $40,000
that is crazy.
for myself. Like, I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. And then I learned like through that whole thing is, you know what? It's taken me years to get here. Think about 4 years of that, 4 years right now. That's like 7 or 8 years. People think you're like an overnight success. So like you're a natural. I'm like, no, this is me.
It took forever to get there. Yeah.
Took forever to get here. Trial and error, learning. But I never gave up. Like I never gave up because something in me said, oh no, I want to build an online business. Right. But it has to, for me, I'm a passion person. It has to be fun. I don't want to just sell a product. Right.
Yeah.
It's like, what is natural to me? And people kept asking me about UGC and I was teaching one-on-one, you know, of the little time that I had, but it was my one-on-one where I learned how to create my coaching program because people had the same questions. And so you're like, let me just put those questions into a program. Because remember, there's levels with UGC, as you know. You can't just do a couple videos and you're done or make your portfolio and you're done. People think that. And you're like, no, it's not like that.
There's so much more stuff and all the admin bull crap in the background too. Like, and even just like B-roll, like even like yesterday, I messed up a line. I had to go get the green screen back out. Like, what was I wearing? Change the outfit. I'm like, dude, it's just little stuff like that. It's like a 40-minute thing it's just annoying, you know? And I'm like on top of the other stuff. So yeah, I agree. That's wild. That's like super inspirational too for people that are like, I feel like there's a lot of optimism in this community, but then there's also people that are like, this is bull crap, this doesn't work. I'm like, dude, yeah, of course it's not going to be easy.
Correct.
You got to grind. Like it's a grind like anything else, but it's a grind I would choose over my old grind by 10 out of 10 times, right?
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I mean, the grind is real. People always ask me, I'm very honest. They always ask like, why are you giving away your secrets or your connections? I'm like, there is no secret. It's hard work. And you are the niche. You have to be your best self on camera. Like, I don't feel like I'm in competition with anybody because no one has my personality, right? People think I'm in competition with somebody else, but 3 or 4 of my best friends, we do UGC together. We're 50-year-old women that are in the same demographic. We were same agencies working with the same brands, but we're all so different in our personalities, and we're going to hit different people, right? Like different people.
Yeah, there's room for everyone. That's I love that. Like I love how you said like you are the brand, like you're the USP or whatever. And I think that the unique selling point, and I think that I don't know. I always get the same thing, and people are like, oh, you're saturating them, like especially Fiverr, right? My thing's on Fiverr, so I've put like 3,000 people on Fiverr in the last 8 months, and Fiverr's pumped with me, but the other people are like, you're saturating, and I'm like, dude, but I've had so many briefs get sent to me with 3 example videos, and all 3 of them are in the community. Guess what? And I'm doing the video now too. Like there's enough. No one's going to use you every single ad. Exactly. And if they do, they're psycho. Like no one's using the same people. And even after they use you for a couple, 2-3 months, guess what? People get fatigued, and then all of a sudden you're the newest shiny thing, and they got to move on to someone else. And then you go swap out with your agency with someone else, right? Like that's what people don't understand is there's so many pieces of content getting made. I was talking with my buddy that worked he recently left, but he was with Spotify. Or sorry, wow, not Spotify, Shopify. Different brand. Okay. Doing like all of the shopping carts for basically every website in the US, right? So he was working on kind of their marketing side and with UGC type businesses that were like looking to ramp their UGC. So we had a cool conversation, and he was telling me, I'm not going to say the brand, but this brand, very well known clothing brand, they do 400 pieces of content per day across all of their social pieces of UGC.
Wow.
Paid UGC videos, guys. Paid UGC. And that's one brand. You'll for sure 1,000,000% know this brand if I told you, but that's one brand out of thousands of brands that they're about their size. And they're doing 400 pieces of paid media per day across all channels, right? That's YouTube, that's Snapchat, that's Instagram, that's everything. And there's not one person doing all 400 of those. Duh. Like, guys, there's so much opportunity here. That's what I try to like. It's hard when you're not in it to explain it, because I think a lot of people, especially when you have a community course, people are like, oh, yeah, of course you're going to say that.
Yeah, of course.
Of course you're going to say there's opportunity. I'm like, dude, I don't care. Like, more for me, I guess, if you don't join this, but like, there's someone else is going to come and do this anyways, right? But it's tough to like, I just want to shake people like, dude, you should do this. There's so much opportunity for people, all ages too. Like you're talking about like 50s. I just turned 38. I've got a lot of gray in my beard and a bald head. So people are like, I'm always getting hired for that 50 plus.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, people think I'm 50 plus because I'm in those ads all the time. Right. And because I'm like, cool, I don't care. Like as long as that's a niche I can fill, I'll do that all day. Right.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter what age, freaking size, like accent's a cool, like accent will get you hired. Sometimes people are like, what if I have an accent? I'm like, dude, that's a selling point.
Yeah.
Like that's
bilingual.
A demographic. Yeah. Bilingual.
Spanish market is huge.
Yeah. Spanish market's growing like crazy. Do you speak Spanish?
I'm Spanglish, like not very good. So.
A little bit. I was gonna say, I do Russian ads, but only if they give me like a script. They can't give me like hey, will you translate this? I'm like, no, the grammar will be jacked up. But give me a Russian ad and I'll do that all day. Not huge in demand right now for obvious reasons, but anyways, yes, bilingual is awesome. Question I wanted to ask you: as you were getting started, it sounds like you kind of did this on your own. Is that true?
True. I didn't know anybody doing what I was doing. I thought I was just beating the system of not being an influencer.
You're like hacking it. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, that's what I thought. And I'm like, oh, it's a thing. Like people do this.
Because one of the questions I want to ask is like, what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given for UGC? But it sounds like you were just the advice giver from the beginning. Like no one gave you advice, or have you?
No, nobody gave me advice. But I will say, I mean, I can't say nobody gave me advice because all my influencer friends that were influencers, and I wanted to be an influencer at that time, they gave me a ton of great advice. And they just said, you're just going to have to find your own, kind of like your own brand, your own personality. And that stuck with me. So I would say that. And these were influencers telling me, and they said, if you can get your brand down, your personality, all the thing, like it's going to take a minute before you figure yourself out on camera, because the you that shows up, say in real life is different, because it is the camera, like me, like you and I are talking like this, you're getting to see me, but the UGC Marzia is a different Marzia.
Way different.
It depends on what the thing is, right? So she's an actress in some ways. In other ways, she's a creator. Other ways, she's herself. Other ways, she's not. So I could be a hardcore salesperson. because that personality is completely, it's like an actor going to work, right? So
Yeah.
it's like they get to do their job. They're not that character. And the people like, oh my gosh, you're so different off screen or whatever. It's the same thing with UGC. I feel like, I am a different person off screen,
Yeah.
but she's like, you need to form your personality, your brand. And at the time it didn't connect until I started getting into UGC. And then I started finding out like, okay, I'm good at the high energy stuff. I'm better at this, and I'm not good at this, I may just, I get epic fails. I'm cringing at
Yeah.
this. But at
Yeah.
the end of the day, I still did it. And it's figuring who yourself out as you are on camera, as
Yeah.
you go through the process. And it's kind of crazy. And I always tell people this because they have personal stuff going on behind the scenes. I'm like, we all do. Like at the
Yeah.
time I'm getting into UGC, I had COVID 4 times. I lost my hair. I have the pictures. I had very sheer thin hair. It was
Sheesh.
for a woman that's defeating. I've always had long hair. It's like, this is,
Yeah.
you're seeing this growing out. I'm like, oh my God, my hair's back. And then I was going through menopause, which at the time I didn't think I was going to be in menopause, which is, I thought it was for old ladies like 60 and 70. And I was going to have gray hair. I did not know 47, to 51 is a time where women have menopause. I was like, oh my God. And I thought too, being a fitness trainer, I was healthy, for 30 something years that's not going to hit me. I mean, it hit me like a ton of bricks. Like it was like the loss of estrogen. I gained 25 pounds. I've never been overweight my entire life. That was the first time that I was like, thanks.
And then you're on camera all the
I'm
time.
on camera. I'm
which is probably
25
worse
pounds
for you.
overweight. My hair is falling out. I went to someone to go do my hair. They bleach blonde. I just wanted highlights and they bleached it out. I had bleach blonde hair. I was overweight. I was like, not my best. My face was breaking out. I had all these flaws that I could immediately not been on camera. I was, at the time when I looked my best before UGC, when I was a fitness influencer days.
Yeah, you're like, get me back to that.
That would have been the time to show up. Now I'm looking my worst. I'm like, oh my God. But I realized in UGC all those stories that you use your zits, you're overweight, your stretch.
Oh yeah.
Your stretch marks.
I joke with my wife. I'm like, I can't get in good shape because then no one's going to send me weight loss stuff. Like that's a big part of my business, babe. Anyways.
That is too funny. So I used my struggles at that time and into my strength. And I thought, well, let me just hit the menopause market, obviously, because it's a huge thing, right? The
Huge
menopause market or mature makeup. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to hit mature makeup because my skin changed. These are things like prior, I would have never even thought of. It would not have been in my brain, but things were happening as I was going through this process. So I was using my own personal struggles to hit those markets. Like when people are like, oh, health and beauty and fitness is so saturated. Oh, you shouldn't do it. That's where I make my money. I'm like, no, it's not. They will pay for the right creator. If you are getting them clicks and you are the right target market for who they're selling to, they will pay. All my stuff is health and beauty. It isn't the niches people tell you not to pitch yourself.
Well, I think a lot of people are scared. I don't even know if I've heard the same thing though, to your point, now that I'm thinking about it, like people say those are saturated, but think about the kind of stuff you have to do for those videos. I don't think a lot of people are comfortable doing those. Like I rock the dad. I freaking lean into the dad bod thing so hard with people. And I got to do videos where my shirt's off and it's like side view of like just the worst beer belly. And I'm like, guys, this is what I don't care because I'm getting paid to do this. Like, I don't care. Right. Like if someone wants me to get in shape and they want to be a retainer client, like I'll do that for them. Right. And so, and you got to lean into what I love that because a lot of people think, well, these are my flaws. Like, dude, turn those flaws into selling points. And like, you can actually get free products for them to help you with those issues that you're self-conscious about too. Right.
Exactly. And that's what I did. I hormone therapy. I got on that. I mean, it's paid for like everything that I've done, like hormones and peptides and look, your skin looks great. You're 51, your skin's great. And I'm like, cause I got lasers and I got paid.
I got paid to do it. Yeah. Oh, I also think that, those very specific pitches are the ones that are going to, and that's in anything, but they're the ones that are going to land you. Hey, I've got a skin problem. I would love to talk about your product. And if we could do some before and afters, this is a real problem I have. Because how many times do you get a video or a brief that's like, act like you have this and then we're going to do the after, right? Or whatever it is. Or like I've had ones where I've like had to, like I've not in shape, but I don't wear like 3XL and they'll be like, hold the 3XL shirt up. I'm like, all right, here, I'm still holding a huge shirt up. And so when you actually have the issue where they can actually film legit, authentic B-roll with it, that's huge, right? And I think people gravitate towards, well, I want to work with my favorite clothing company. I want to work with and so they go to these like famous brands and pitch them, and they're like, oh, pitching sucks. I'm like, yeah, you're not pitching to something that you actually have like a emotional, real tie to.
Exactly. Yeah. I even got my teeth. I got my Invisalign. I had that too. I pitched. And so again, I mean, getting those things for free, I mean, it saves
Yeah.
you a lot of money like in real life. At the same time, you also get paid for it. And then they get marketing content to show like real before and afters.
Yeah. Otherwise, they're going to get garbage content from people that aren't UGC creators that don't know what
Yep.
they're doing. And you can tell they're like, how did you like Invisalign? It was good. It helped, and you're like, oh, this is the worst video ever. They need to hire a creator. I was going to ask you, out of all the products you've gotten, it can be services too. What is the coolest thing you've ever gotten with UGC? That $4,000 treatment sounds like it's hard to beat, but
It is hard to beat, but I will say that it is. It was a $2,500 cancer scan. So it's called Prenuvo, and it tests for over 500 cancers at stage 0. So you can get it cut out.
jeez, dude.
It tests for brain aneurysms before, before it happens, tumors at 0.5. And I actually wrote them twice and they denied me. I was like, dang it. Then a couple of years later, they said, hey, we actually want you to do UGC. And I was like, oh my gosh. So they came
Like
back.
years later.
Years later. Yes.
Dude, love it. Shoot your shot. You never know.
Yes. And so they came back and then I'm like, oh, I got a free scan. And then of course, they're going to pay me because it's local UGC. It was at my, around my city. And then I said, well, I want my husband to have it too. I'm like, can you have a free scan too? And they were like, no, but we'll give it to your husband for $1,000 because it was a $2,500 scan. So I was like, okay, I got it for free. He gets, $1,000. And, I get paid also for, the content. It's for 2 times.
Yeah.
And then the next year, they also, gives you something that you do yearly. They came back and said, hey, can we do this again? Your content did so well that even the company reached out and said, hey, we want to do professional video with you. And I was like
a spokesperson
oh my
type
God.
thing.
Yeah, they had the whole camera crew. They flew to Dallas.
That's a lot, dude. Yeah, that's crazy.
They're actually from, I think, San Diego or somewhere in California, I think, but they flew out to Dallas to film me. And I was actually shocked. They had this whole house, Airbnb, they set up like to tell my story, just to be preventative. Like I was a health coach.
Yeah.
True story. I love preventative, like measurements and tools. And this is one of those things. I wish it was available for insurance, but it's not. But I mean, it is worth it to save your money to this $2,500 scan because a radiologist invented it. It's 10 times more powerful than a regular MRI. There's no contrast, no radiation, nothing. You just lay there, watch a Netflix show as you're watching your thing, and then the scan goes on and then you're done. And you get to find out these results. And it's saved a ton of people. It's like insane. So
that's crazy. That's a really, really cool product too.
Yeah,
It would
I
make
feel like
too
that's
much
a
sense.
life-saving product. That
That's crazy that insurance doesn't cover it. I mean, that would make too much sense, right? If insurance covered it.
For sure.
That's like those people that do like the medical tourism and go to Turkey and do all those scans. I think it's like similar thing, right? But you got to fly to Istanbul for that.
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy. I know you've mentioned a couple of these things already, but what's the hardest part about UGC? Is it the editing? Is it just like the chaos of not taking on too much at once?
Okay, well, I don't edit anymore, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, you got that off your plate.
Don't edit it. I don't run my scripts or anything like that. But I will say time management. I try the best that I can, and it is really hard because now at this phase, like in the beginning, when you're new, people are like, oh, it's due within 3 to 5 days or 3 to 7 days or something. When you're at my level of UGC, I mean, I'm booked out for weeks, right? And I work weekly with clients. Like, for instance, one of my clients gives me 4 to 6 scripts a week. So does my other clients give me 4 to 6 scripts a week. These are multi-million-dollar companies that are pounding away, like you said, with 400 pieces of content, that kind of stuff. So these are multi-million-dollar companies. And sometimes they were like, hey, we need more. It's Q4. We're going to give you 4 more. I'm like, I cannot squeeze in 4 more. So for me, it's like time management. I mean, every day looks different, which I love, but it's trying to manage that time. And it's really hard. I feel like I haven't still figured it out yet because people always ask me like what it is. I'm like, the level of priority, that's to my calendar. That's
like literally,
right. I plug it in, and I had a thing that was due today, and I asked because I had a project that took a little bit yesterday, and I asked for an extension, and they're cool because they know I turn in content on time. They've worked with me for years, so you're able to ask that. If you're brand new, they may not be able to ask that. But I'm like, hey, I have something that took way too long that I may not be able to do it till Thursday, and they'll say, hey, we'll give you till Friday. I'm like, thank you, hallelujah. So I just try to do the level of priority, the time, of the content. But It's not always easy, as you know, there's mess ups. I have dyslexia. I've never used that as like oh, this is my woe is me. Never. And I read scripts for a living. So what's pretty common with me is, like you said, like one line and I say the words wrong and it's flipped. I'm like, oh my God.
And you'll just get stuck on it over and over.
Yes. And I'm
Dude,
like,
that's
oh.
me. Oh, that's the
And then
worst.
I have to go change same thing outfit. Like you said, you're putting on your stuff to get the right line to look like the
Yeah.
same. I'm like, oh man, but that is a pain in the butt I try to avoid reshoots as much as I can, and
Yeah.
even though
Yeah.
this stuff slips through the cracks, but yeah, I would just say time management. I don't know if it could be ever figured out as a content creator.
It's so hard. Well, it's like work-life balance is basically, I quit my job to do this full time once I replaced my income. And I'm like, I did it to like have more work-life balance, but I'm like, I work till midnight now every night because I just like, cause I want, not cause I have to, cause like I want to, like, I want to do this and I want to, my
Yeah.
portfolio like is in desperate need of a remake. I'm like, I have been needing to do that for 6 months. And so it's like every night I'll get like one little thing done and I'm like, oh, I better go to bed, and it's like, I'm working all the freaking time now. But again, I would take that over my best day at corporate America, I think, any day.
Yeah, I agree with you. I took on a second business. So yeah, and I'm like, oh, great. So I had to take two of my retainer clients, the one that were paying less, like 3,000 a month. I'm like, hey guys, I'm sorry, but I need to like basically say goodbye, but I can
Offload.
refer you to other creators, that would be great. And I do have a network of friends and other creators that I work with, or my students, and I could refer them, or they'll
Yeah.
find somebody else on their own. But I just kept my higher paying UGC retainer clients. And then, of course, the coaching program, it's a beast of its own when you're doing that. I thought I just don't want to create a course. I thought initially I would, but every time I coached somebody, they would come back and they were like, hey,
$1,000
can
times.
you help me
No,
with this?
I
Can you
got
help
you
me
on
with
that.
this? Can you help me with
Yeah.
this? I'm like, oh, great. Cause you get to certain levels and you need help. So I thought, why not have the foundation of the coaching program? Like you got your modules or you learn the foundations of it, but where you really learn is obviously taking action and being on the weekly coaching calls or listening to the replays, like
Yeah.
your podcast, you're listening to stuff that gives you tips and tricks as you make your way through your journey. Cause I
Yeah.
feel like, I would say when they watch a course, some may go back and watch it a second time, but where you really learn is in the field. Like you get the basics, you learn the
Yeah.
field and you learn from other creators. And I would say, what about when I go to Tony Robbins events? I feel like they're kind of motivational concert for your life. If he
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
know something, he brings in all these specialists and they help you in these different areas. And that's what I feel like too. I feel like I'm always like, hey, there's Dan from UGC Factory. Let's bring him in. Or, here's Nate. Let's bring him in. Or here's so-and-so. Bring them in and share the knowledge because we're all so different. Like how we made it here, our journeys are so different. And we
Oh,
all
yeah.
are in different places of our journey. And we do UGC different, all of us.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all, yeah. There's no, I always tell people that there's no like one right way to do UGC. And there's not really one that's better than the other. Just like whatever one speaks to you the most, do that.
True.
Cause like even in my community, I'm like, Fiverr might not be the thing for you. Like you might turn it on and maybe you get your gigs. Maybe it's perfect and you can't figure out why it's not working, that's fine. Go do other stuff and let it cook. Like, it's not a big deal. But if you just sit around and complain about it not working, then yeah, you're for sure never going to get any like gigs because it's not working. Right. Talk about, so you said you guys let's talk about your program for a second. You guys do weekly calls or how do you manage that?
Yeah.
It's like
so
with
we
the
have,
entire group.
Yeah. Weekly coaching calls and they're really true live Q&As. Some of them
Love
I
it.
teach. Some of them, like, if they want, like, they have, somebody keeps asking the same question, I might go over that module and teach it. And then we do a live Q&A. If not, I bring on guest speakers and they take it away. They may present or talk or, like, say we had Dan Reagan from UGC Factory on. I've been with his agency for 3 years and I've done like tons of products and made their clients multi-millions of dollars. I was very grateful I even came on, to my community to speak because I have 2 communities, a free one and then my paid one. So my paid members, they get access to my people,
calls.
my connections.
Oh,
and then
yeah,
the free
the
people get it
connections too.
later on. But the free ones actually, the paid ones actually get to talk to Dan directly. So I want to be able to provide those connections. That way they can ask him, you never know. They could be friends with him or they could work for his company. They could be a creative strategist instead of a UGC creator. That happens too. I've seen it.
Yeah. A lot of people
I
are moving into creative strategy now.
I knew somebody that started off as a UGC creator and now they're working with several different agencies, writing stuff, and they love to write. That's their niche, their thing they love to do. So you never know where you're going to shine in that part of the journey. But yeah, the weekly coaching calls help get their people's questions answered and stuff.
Yeah.
Versus, some of them are like fly on the wall, just listening, but I say, if you use any community, right? Even like your community, say Anna's or Claire's, if you get in the community, use the community, talk to the
Yeah.
people, get to
Yeah.
know other creators. That's how you grow and shine and have these connections in the industry. Like I got invited to so many events, brand stuff this year, even talking on stage on stuff. I had to turn it down. I didn't want to. One, because I had my clients, but number two, I was building this course and it took a certain amount of time and energy. And I
Yeah.
had to say no to a lot of things. I did not want to. So my goal for 2026 is to do more of those brand events. And then
Yeah.
also meet with, different UGC. If there's, I don't know how many UGC creator events are. I know there's a couple, but I figure in 2026, there's going to be a lot more. I want to
We're
go
doing one here in Utah in March.
Oh, okay. I might have to come to go. Let me know. Yes.
Park City, baby.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
More info to come on that. Yeah. I think that people are missing that kind of connection piece of like, yeah, this is fun, but I do everything by myself. Like, it's like, I don't get to see other people. So it would be cool, even just for the sake of like, just to get together and I think it'd be fun. So we're planning on something, but I think it'd be interesting. I'll have to talk to you about this at some point. It'd be interesting to do like a huge event, like you mentioned some of the names, Claire and Anna, like this community is really awesome, and I think it'd be cool to pull all of our communities and do some freaking mega event like
that would be awesome. Very collaborative. Yeah. I mean, I just feel like there's so many events. Like I got invited to a big agency thing where they were going to pay me, a UGC agency going to pay me to go there and do all this stuff. And I can't go. I'm like, oh, like, it's like terrible. Like, I'm like, okay, my goal for 2026 is going to be involved in the UGC.
Have more time to do that. Yeah. Now it's tough. Everyone's getting pulled a million directions,
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, super appreciate your time. To wrap up, what is the best? I know you've already given so many awesome nuggets. Well, and to go back, I'm going to link to your community, your paid community, in the show notes. So just FYI, I'm going to ask you for that at some point. So I'll put that in the show notes when this goes live. So you guys, if you want access to weekly calls and access to Marzia, you obviously heard how awesome like she is, how great her path has been so far. Click that. It's going to be in the show notes. But as far as like the best advice you'd have to new creators, that's going to be part one of this question. And then B, somebody who's been doing this a year or so and that feels like they've kind of plateaued.
I would say do it cringe. If you're brand new, do it cringe. Who cares what it is? Just work through it. I mean, I was getting paid 2 years later with cringe content, and I probably still create cringe content, and I'm 4 years in, right? So just keep on doing it. Not every piece is going to hit, when you create something. And then you have to give yourself grace. And then the last thing I would say, if you're hitting a plateau, you got to work on your mindset. Because I've trained, coach creators that are stuck at the 5,000, they can't get to the 10,000. A lot of it's mindset, and they're taking on smaller projects instead of their, value, like pitching their worth or their value. And it's that mindset you have to work on. And I do feel like when you are this UGC is a business, right? And you have to keep working on your business skills as you make your way through the journey.
Yeah. There's a lot to be said about even like simple things like communication, and like you wouldn't get to where you are now with your relationship with your agencies without relationship building. Like that's something I feel like is very overlooked in this industry.
I agree.
It's like at the end of the day, you guys, even though you're out of corporate America, you're working with corporate brands. Like you got to work with people that are, not everyone you work with is a freelance creator, marketer, guy, startup founder, cool dude. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like you're working with legit professional people, and so you need to have that mindset that like, hey, you're a big part of their business, so you need to figure out how to nurture those relationships.
Exactly. You're part of the marketing department. That's what UGC is.
Yeah, love it. Well, I super appreciate it. I'm glad we were able to put this together. I will again link that in the show notes, you guys. I'm going to also link your socials here.
Okay.
You can send me your TikTok, your fitness influencer one if you want. I'll link that. I didn't see that.
I mean, I still have it. It's dead, but I randomly post UGC stuff on there.
Yeah, send it. That's so awesome. But anyways, super appreciate it. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you again soon. Maybe we'll see you in March up here.
Yes, definitely. I would love to come. Thank you, Nate, for having me on. I appreciate it.
No problem. Take it easy.
Thanks.
Thanks so much for tuning in today. If you found this episode useful or got you interested in starting your own UGC journey, Go to the show notes, check out my UGC Fiverr Pro course. The entire thing's on video. I walk you step by step on how to set up your Fiverr, go beyond Fiverr onto other platforms, figure out how to get inbound deals, and also pitch through different platforms like X and Reddit. Go into the show notes. If you use the code podcast, the link is right there. You're going to get 15% off. I appreciate you guys listening. Thanks for subscribing, and we will catch you next time.